How can I get my side hustle off the ground? That's the question for today. And it's interesting because, when we start a new business, oftentimes it is a side hustle. In matter of fact, I recommend all my clients to, start some sort of side hustle because there's a good chance that side hustle can potentially turn into a full scale business. So I love side hustles. Now, this particular gentleman is providing marketing services to small business owners in a very local market. And he had a very genuine question that how do I get my business off the ground? How do I get it where it starts to produce, maybe 3,000, 4,000, $5,000 per month income for me? So I thought maybe I can share some of my thoughts about that. So I'm going to give you a few pointers, and I think they're going to be extremely helpful to you if you're starting out a new business or even if you have a small business and you want to grow the business. These strategies been around for many, many years. And I think they will be around for hundreds of years in future as well. So these are evergreen strategies. You can definitely use them, give them a try. I think you will start to see results in about 30 to 90 days for sure. Okay, number one, get excited about an opportunity. So whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's a marketing service, whether it's finance, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's some sort of service that you're providing, get excited about it. Obviously, there are going to be problems. There will be issues that you have to deal with, but those are just part of the whole overall package. You need to get excited in spite of all the hard work you have to put in, all the things you have to learn, all the pivots you have to make. And that would not happen unless you're excited from within. You need to be happy that you are a business owner. So how do you do that? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one reason is if you continue to do this for next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and I mean you follow the formula that I'm about to give you, you will be successful regardless of what business you are doing. As long as that business has enough market share, enough people are doing, there are enough customers out there, you'll be just fine. So 2 years down the road, I know you'll be successful. Today, you're going to struggle. So you need to be excited about your future that, in 2 years from now, I will be replacing my income. 2 years from now, I'll be going on my dream vacation. 2 years from now, I'll be taking a trip. This is the time for you to visualize. Think about all the things that you would do if you were successful. So start with that, and you take those images of visualization and maybe you put them in few different places. Maybe you share it with some people. Maybe you keep a journal and you write about them that, okay, you know what? I'm 2 years away from achieving my goal. So that's so important. You need to get serious about running a business. See, running a business is quite different than being a W-2 employee. Nobody is going to come wake you up. Nobody is going to ask you to do things. Nobody will tell you what to do. You need to figure all of that out. And that would not happen unless you have a calendar. A calendar needs to tell you exactly what do you need to do every single day. Now, when you are doing side hustle, chances are you're going to spend more time learning than doing things. And as you get better at it, you will start to spend more time doing things than learning. So, first thing you want to do is figure out how much time are you going to give to this business? Is it 40 hours a week? Is it 20 hours a week? Is it 10 hours a week? Is it 5 hours a week? Because you need to be clear about that. Because if you're not clear on that concept, you're not serious about your business. Like if when you go get a W-2 job, don't you want to know how many hours you're going to work? What if they say, you know what, I'm going to pay you $5,000 a month, but I expect you to work 24 hours a day. That would be a bad deal for you, right? You don't want to do that. Same thing with business. The only thing is in business, you're making a contract with yourself. You are the one deciding how many hours I'm going to give to this business. So please, before you start a side hustle, or if you already have a side hustle, make a commitment that I want to give this business X number of hours. Now, I can't tell you what that number is. You need to figure that out. Like, what would it take to get this business off the ground? Commit to those numbers of hours. Now, next thing is, what are you going to do in those hours? That needs to be predefined as well. Oftentimes, when I'm talking to people who are doing side hustle, they just don't know what to do every day. They're spending their time scrolling social media, just commenting, posting, you know, it's like all bunch of random activities. I think if you can get a little bit more focused and you can put down on a calendar that, hey, look, I'm going to work 10 hours a week. Out of those 10 hours, I'm going to spend 5 hours learning about this business. This is the book I'm going to read. This is the course I'm going to take. This is the exercise I'm going to do. And out of those 5 hours, 2 hours, I'm going to be joining this event. 3 hours, I'm going to be doing this. You need to be very, very specific. Business owners needs to run a business, and they can't run a business if they are busy doing hundred of things. They they do need to tackle everything, but they organize their day around it. So unless you figure that technique out, you are going to continue to struggle in getting your side hustle off the ground. Third strategy is you need to become more valuable. You see, that only two ways to make money. One way to make money is sell time. So whatever your skill is, you sell time. You say, look, I'm going to charge $80 an hour or $100 an hour. But what if you want to charge $300 an hour or $500 an hour or $1,000 an hour or $100,000 an hour? To do that, you need to become more valuable. You need to be able to deliver some sort of benefit to your customer that would justify that increase. So, how do you do that? Well, you do that by learning. You try to find mentors in your field and see if you can learn from them. You try to find seminars, you try to find conferences, you try to find some books. You become like a sponge. You want to absorb knowledge as much as possible. If you're doing it without getting better, you're going to get stuck in the business. You'll be just like everybody else. You see, in I've been in business for over 20 years and I learn a lot. And today I'm quite valuable, but I'm learning every single day. And because I'm learning every single day, 5 years from now, I'll be even more valuable. I can charge more per hour. I can charge more for my services. 10 years from now, I'll be even more valuable. But take a look at doctors. If you need to go see a doctor, you want to find the best doctor in the town. That means they're the most valuable doctors. The same logic applies to almost every single field. To try to become more valuable every single day. Now, it doesn't have to be a big leap. It's not like you have to go from 100 to 200. It could be just 1%. That'll be more than enough. If you can just get 1% better. The problem is people don't know what do they want to get better at. And because they don't know what to get better at, they get confused. So once again, I'm going to go back to a calendar. Start making a list of all the things that you need to get better at. For example, maybe you need to become better at communication. Maybe you need to become better at presentation. Maybe you need to become better at learning your product or your service. Maybe you need to become better at networking events. Whatever those things are that you need to do, write them down. You don't need to become better at all of them on day one. Pick one and try to learn about that every single day. If you do that consistently for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, you will get a better. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the things I do is when I buy a book, I try to read that book 4 or 5 times. Or if I'm reading a lecture, or I'm listening to a lecture, or I'm reading some notes, then I'll try to do that 3, 4, 5 times, because the more times I do, the better it sinks in. I get more out of it. And then I try to share that knowledge with my groups, with my friends, with my clients. That way I memorize that knowledge. You need to be able to recall that knowledge when you need it. And in order to do that, you have to be able to repeat what you're learning. So become valuable and repeat what you're learning. That's what's going to help you get there. Now, you got excited. You figured out, why am I doing this business? You got very serious about the business. You made plans. You came up with a marketing plan. You came up with a sales plan. You came up with a strategy. You came up with your goals. You did all that. Okay. And you spend several hours a day learning about your product or service, and you're getting really good at running a business. But if you don't do a business, then that's not going to result into any kind of special benefit for you. So you really need to execute whatever it is that you're trying to do. At least if you're learning phase, once a month, go out there and experiment with it. Like, can you try to sell that product or service to your neighbor, to your friend, to your family member? Even if they don't buy it, that's okay. Just run it by them and get feedback from them. They're your best friend. They'll tell you, okay, this one makes sense, this didn't make sense. That's the idea here. Try to go out and don't wait too long. Don't say, like, I'm going to do this when I get really perfect. That's just bad way of doing business. if you're weak, that's okay. You will get a lot of no's, and you need to learn how to handle no's. So that's important as well. So go out there and do things. Don't wait when things will change. I will change. So execute your strategy. And lastly, relax and reflect. I think many small business owners, they get tired or they get burnout because they're so focused on building their business that they don't realize that they're human beings. They also need to take rest. They also need to relax. Take a vacation, go out somewhere, go in the mountains, go on the beach, go whatever it is that you like to do, something other than making money, something other than your business. Hang around with friends that have nothing to do with your business. Don't talk about business all the time because it's going to get your head clogged up. Okay, people are going to start hating you because you're always talking about the same thing. So try to relax, try to reflect on all these things. For example, I gave you 5 pointers, right? Number one, I gave you get excited, figure out your why am I doing it, get excited about achieving your goals, get serious about running your business. Write down your strategy, write down your marketing plan, your sales plan, your goals, number of people you're going to meet every single week. Anything that you can do to grow your business, it should be written down. Become more valuable every day. Learn something new, even if it's just 1%, and try to recall that. And you do that by repeating. Repetition is the key here. And then you execute the strategy. And lastly, I said relax and reflect. So slow down, take a moment, and see what's working, what is not working. I think these are just some general principles that work very well. So if you are starting a side hustle or already running a side hustle or have a small business, pay attention to these things. We get so clogged up in day-to-day activity that we don't realize that we also need to work on the business. We need to figure out how to get this business going instead of just working in the business. So these tips, I think, can be extremely valuable. I hope you find them helpful. If you have a question, concern, you don't agree with me, disagree with me, just post in comment and let's work it out. Okay. Thank you.